I am the Word of God. Let's discuss what's going on in current affairs. Let's try to explain things to where people can understand. Because there's a lot of lies going on. What are those lies? Anything the elite can get away with to continue their reign of power over humankind, enslaving us but not telling us. People don't understand this yet? Really? How much wealth do they have in comparison to the rest of the population? This is not hard to mathematically figure out. There are many homeless. There are many people struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, doing anything they can to get by. This is why I've come up with so many economic plans to create perpetual wealth for everyone. They will work. The elite do not want to use these plans completely because they like their slaves. They all know each other. They all party and correspond with one another. Many people don't understand what's really going on. If you look at a place called Palm Beach in Florida, many of the elite in media, in government, in business have homes there. They live there to some extent. There's mass amounts of heroin running through Palm Beach. Think about the route it takes. The majority of heroin is produced in Afghanistan. Russia is very close in dealings with Iran, more than any other country, I would say. Seems pretty obvious. So what happens now is Russia and the people working with them, their mob. Let's be honest, it's a mob country. It's a mob nation. Mobsters run it. And they push the chemicals to the U.S. So it goes from Afghanistan to Iran. Then the Iranians push it through the Caspian Sea. If you look up the vessels running through the Caspian Sea, the ships, the freighter ships, it's going all year round. They push it from Iran up to Russia. All the way up through Russia, through Moscow. And this is where it can divide. You can go more westerly and go pushed into Europe. Which is a lot of the reason the wars are going on right now with the Kurds. With Turkey attacking the Kurds. They want to open up different routes to getting to Europe. Faster routes. Pushing their heroin quicker. The heroin is also, if it's not going west that way, if it's going all the way to the United States, it goes up through Moscow, then it goes to the northern coast. This is why comments have been made about Denmark. Because Denmark is a gatekeeper that they still can't get through. So they have to take the route up through the northern shores of Russia, around Finland, down the coast, and across the Atlantic, where they go to the Bahamas and places like Epstein Island. Did no one see the pictures of the people processing drugs on buckets? That's what they were doing in the tunnels down there. They're basically slaves in the tunnels, processing the heroin. Other drugs, making it into fentanyl. Then they take the heroin, they push it up to Panama, helicopters. There's a golf course there, it's pretty famous. A lot of big shots seem to gather there. A lot of people in the GOP getting paid off by Russians, Ukrainians. It's all in the news right now, isn't it? So they push it through up to Panama Beach, and then they distribute it all to certain locations. Now there's a big hotel chain that a very powerful man owns. Maybe you all can figure that out. This very powerful man, this false king, rents out rooms for obnoxious amounts. Amounts normal people can't pay. Some fools might pay it. But as I've said for a very long time, it's a way to launder money. People rent multiple rooms to pay back that money for the heroin. That way it looks legit to the IRS. It's a scam. All these front hotels, laundering mechanisms. There's multiple transportation companies that are moving vehicles all over the nation, high-priced vehicles. Working with Russia. It's very easy to find. Some of these transportation companies have been looked at by government agencies as of late. I wonder why. Maybe they're finally starting to listen to me. Seems so clear what's really going on. Do you really think Grandma Hillary was killing 50 of these critics or people against her? Or is it a smarter idea for a foreign communistic country such as Russia to send their hitmen from their mob organizations to kill these critics against Hillary? Then spread propaganda that Hillary was involved in this. I'm not saying these people are perfect. I'm not saying Hillary or Bill are perfect. But think about it. She was watching the Osama bin Laden raid, and she looked like she was about to faint watching a video. You think she's ordering hits? No. Think about what you're being sold. Propaganda from a communist country to take away your freedoms more. Well, here I am. I'm not going to let people push this propaganda. I'm going to tell the truth. And without hands, I am going to set the record straight and win this war on the minds of so many. With real truth. I'm not some rich person, some elite. Now, let's talk about Rudy Giuliani. All the crazy things him and Trump say. It's a distraction. It's a distraction from what's really going on. Trump, what did he say on his little tweet the other day? About how Giuliani is a great, legendary crime fighter. Let's get this understood real quick. If you want to think about it in parables, think about it as the movie The Departed. These mafioso figured out that the cops, the agents, were more powerful. When Elliot Ness and all this was happening, figured out that these agencies of good people could take them down, could bust them. So what they started doing, they thought of a better plan. They get their family, they put them through school however they can. Best grades, probably paying for it. Just like you see on the news. These rich people buying grades and test scores for their family. So they do this. And these people that are connected to the mob get these outstanding resumes. Then the payback is to get a job in government, in one of these agencies that monitor them. So once they get these high positions, as district attorneys, prosecuting attorneys, well-known lawyers, mayors, governors, whatever, sheriffs, police, whatever it may be, FBI. They infiltrate these systems and they corrupt them. They act legit. They play a spy game, a double agent. They devalue the information and they set it up to where their families are all the better, not getting caught for what they're doing. Then, what they do is they find the opposing faction, the other families in the mob. And the way they look good and maintain this is they send their agencies after their opponents. Not their own families, but the opponents. The other faction. They knock them out of business. Now what does this do? This makes the family that put these double agents in charge more powerful. It makes them above the law. It makes the person that's playing the double agent look like a legend. Isn't that what old Rudy Giuliani was called by Trump? The guy that owns all these hotels? They pay off people millions as hush money to hide the truth, to make up false stories. They offer people millions. Do you think it's just coincidence that people I know have won millions of dollars in the lottery? Or that when I tell people things, they get new cars? You don't think I've been sent emails that state about how I'm going to receive millions of dollars for cooperating, that are meant to look foolish but are more realistic than you can imagine? Think about what's happening. It states in Revelations about the many false kings. And all their pyramid of evilness to control all the areas of society. When is enough enough? When is enough enough? Wouldn't it be better to have a world that was good and kind, humble and meek? Not have society to where criminals and evil people run things. I'm not taking one side or the other. Majority of the elite are corrupt. As I've stated several times, people are not aware of all the ideas and designs that I have made and given to society. As of the last few years, as part of my plan to expose them. Think about the truth. Think about the future. This is the time!